Hey my beautiful Scorpio peeps, what's going on everybody? It's Am from CancerMoonsTarot and welcome in here to your yearly tarot reading for the year of 2024. How are you? I hope you guys are doing well. I do want to mention as always before we start, if you're interested in a personal reading, check out my website, CancerMoonsTarot.com, first link in the description box below if you would like to book me there. But without further ado, let's get on into it and see what we got going on. So Scorpios, we're going to start out here with your three major themes for the year of 2024, then we'll get into the rest of everything else for the year ahead, okay? So first things first, let's check out your three major themes. What are going to be the three major themes coming in here for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus Zodiac throughout the year of 2024? What do we got showing up here as the three major themes for Team Scorpio? Starting out here with your first theme of the year, what do we got? And we got here sadness and isolation. So we'll go deep into this one. I know for some people you might see this and be like, oh God, we're doomed for 2024. Don't worry about it. I'm sure we'll get some insight to what's happening here. Now, hopping on into your next major theme for the year, what's it going to be for Scorpio? And what do we got? We got here observe, and then taking a look here at the last major theme for the year, what do we have in store for you? And we have here simply love. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about it, guys, and see what we got going on. Now, I find it kind of interesting that sadness and isolation is pretty close right here to observe, because I notice that when I'm in a bit of an isolating place, I do tend to become much more observant. So it does feel to me like that's something to be mindful of. If you find yourself isolated this year, I think that it's going to be about having to really take the time to kind of observe why you're in that position in the first place, right? If you're unhappy and you're on your own, observe why you're there in the first place, because sometimes we tend to punish ourselves in ways that aren't necessarily fair to ourselves, but we have to ask ourselves, why are we here when we could be somewhere entirely different? So I think there's going to be actually a lot of insight that comes through with this card specifically, because if you have found yourself in a position, you're going to figure out why you're there, and then you're going to also figure out how to get out of it. So let's get into it. We're going to go ahead and expand on each of these themes. So let's expand on this theme first using the tarot and see what comes to mind. So what insight and information do we have here for the sadness and isolation theme for Scorpio coming up in the year of 2024? First card coming out is the Three of Pentacles. Absolutely. We also have here a Ten of Cups, and we have here an Ace of Wands. I love it. So already we're off to a great start, like I was saying to you previously. Now, first things first, Three of Pentacles showing up here paired to this major theme. The Three of Pentacles represents figuring things out, making something work, understanding where everything kind of fits. So the way that I see the Three of Pentacles here paired to this card, and this card is actually a number 3 too, so I like that we're seeing alignment here. You're figuring out, how do I find a way to figure out my place in the world? How do I find a way to put myself back together and not feel outcasted? And more so, how do I feel like I'm a part of the world again, is what I think is going to be a major theme for many of you. You know, maybe some of you have been in hermit energy for years, maybe others of you were in hermit energy all throughout 2023, but I feel like 2024 is the year where you're figuring out your place. And the thing is sometimes we can feel like outcasts in this world, you know? We could feel like we are not like everybody else, and due to that nature of not feeling like everybody else, sometimes we can feel sad about that. But to be true, it's great that you're unique. You want to be different. You don't want to be like everybody else. You know, if you were like everybody else, then you're a boring person, right? You want to be who you are. So I do think that throughout this period of isolation, you're going to start to see where you fall into place coming into 2024. Maybe 2023 was just full and filled with a lot of changes, especially to your identity. And maybe now 2024 is more about figuring out, who do I want to be? Like, how do I identify myself? Who is the Scorpio this year? Who am I going to be this year? So I definitely think that your identity is shifting and changing, but I don't see that as inherently a bad thing. You have here the Ten of Cups, the card of the ultimate fulfillment. When you're not sure who you are, it gives you every opportunity to become somebody you want to be, right? So with that being said, Scorpio, Ten of Cups, what's your greatest version this year? Who do you want to be? What is the best version of this Scorpio that you can imagine at this time? Because you can tap into that person. You can become that person, especially if you don't necessarily know what your identity is right now. And what's so amazing about identities is that we can choose whatever kind of identity we desire to be in. So I feel that with the Ace of Wands coming into play, 2024 for Scorpio is going to be an incredibly reinventive kind of year, You are reinventing yourself in a way that the world's never seen before. You're not going to be in hermit energy anymore. You're not going to be isolated, feeling like an outcast, feeling like you don't belong in a world you very much belong in. 2024 is going to be the year where you identify who you want to be, what you want to bring to the world, how you want to show yourself to the world, and the kind of truth you want to stand in. And I think that's pretty fucking powerful. Okay? So I love that. I love that we had a really good positive twist to this card. I felt it for sure. Okay? Hopping on into our next major theme, we have here observe. Definitely a year to be pretty mindful. When you're in your awareness and you're observing things, sometimes you can pick up on things that maybe you might have missed if you weren't so observant. So this is going to be a year to make sure you're constantly checking in with yourself and you're constantly being aware. You want to be mindful of the situations you're in. Is something aiding me or is something hurting me? Is something helping me? Is something hurting me? You want to be constantly mindful of that at all times. So when you're in the energy of observing and being observant, you can start to see whether or not you're seeing green flags or red flags appearing in your life. And because you have that awareness, you can do something about it, right? If there's a green flag, fantastic. If there's a red flag, we can work on kind of isolating ourselves from those specific red flags. All right, but let's get into it. What expansion cards do we have here for the second theme? Observe. Oh, hello, we got a twofer. We have here a Four of Pentacles, and we have here a Queen of Swords. And then taking a look here at one last card, we have here the World coming out for you. Perfect. So what I would say here in terms of observe is Four of Pentacles. Take a look and observe the situations and the things in your life that are making you feel like you're inside a box. Is there anything, Scorpio, that's making you feel like you need to retract? Is it a certain kind of person that you feel like you need to constantly retract from? Is it that you feel like you constantly need to retract from the world because you feel uncomfortable? Is it that you feel like you need to hold back because you're not good enough? What are these types of things in life that are keeping you held back? If you can observe your behavior of what you feel is keeping you stuck and what's keeping you trapped, as long as you're aware of it, you can do something to change it. Now, for a person who isn't aware of the things that are holding themselves back, they can't make any sort of additional changes, because how could you change something you're not particularly aware of? So that's why awareness is going to be key coming into 2024, because the more you can see what's holding you back, then Queen of Swords, you can cut that shit out and you can keep it moving forward. You know, we have here the World card. World card is the card over here in the tarot that says it's time to end some sort of cycle. And I feel like if there's been any sort of repetitive themes and repetitive cycles of things that have kept you stuck in your life, 2024 is going to be the year where you finally put those cycles to rest. I'm done letting these situations hold me back. I'm done letting this experience hold me back. I'm done letting these people, etc. You are no longer going to allow yourself to be held back by things that you are aware are holding you back in the first place. You're going to take action instead, remove those things that have kept you held back, and you're going to proudly move forward into better energies this year and really start to get the ball rolling. So that's a really fantastic thing showing up, and I think I made a super good point. For a person who isn't aware of something holding them back, they're never going to be able to get out of that. They're going to stay stuck in a trap. However, though, for the person who is aware of something keeping them trapped, they now have the ability to do something about it because of that awareness. So awareness is going to be key in 2024. I would very much so recommend for Scorpios that you are taking a lot of time to check in with yourself. If you don't want to check in with yourself each and every single day, maybe check in with yourself once a week. Be like, hey, how am I feeling? How am I doing? Has there been anything bothering me lately? Has there been anything that I've been happy about lately? Like, have a full-blown check-in with yourself, because the more you can be observant of what's going on in your life, the more we can take preventative action for things we don't want, and the more we can remove the things we don't want, and the more we can start implementing what we do want and what we prefer for our desired reality. So definitely a really great theme to see here so far. Now, hopping on into our last and our final theme of the year, we have here simply love. You know, this is kind of giving me the energy of Jesus when Jesus would turn the other cheek. Now, I'm not fairly religious. I did grow up Catholic, and I remember that story. And that is one story that was always something that, was interesting to me, inspiring to me in a way, right? When Jesus was getting hit, he went and he turned the other cheek. He did not necessarily fight back. He decided, I'm going to be in a place of love. I'm going to be in a place where I understand this person's going through pain, and I'm going to love them anyways, despite what they're doing onto me. And I think that in 2024 for you, Scorpio, To a degree. It's not going to be wholehearted. Let me turn the other cheek. I'm sure Scorpio, if somebody slaps you, you're going to give them a good bitch slap back. But I think that what it's more about is I don't really want to keep tuning into the energies of negativity. I'm going to wish my enemies well. I'm going to wish the people who did me wrong well. For they, how do they say that? For they do not what they know. Some shit like that, right? I'm not a Bible expert, but that's the vibe here this year. It's like, I don't want to keep on fighting negativity with negativity, and then the goddamn cycle continues. I'm tired of the perpetual cycle. This is going to be the year where I'm going to wish people well, even if they did me dirty, because I don't want to hold on to any sort of negative energy. I don't want to hold on to any sort of residual energies. I want to cut ties peacefully and make sure that I'm constantly moving towards abundance, you know? So I think a lot of you are going to end up in that type of energy, but let's go ahead and expand. What expansion cards do we have here for this final theme for Scorpio, which is simply love? Let's go ahead and take a look. We have here the Knight of Wands, we have here the Moon, and lastly, we have here the Star. Yeah, Knight of Wands is a pretty interesting energy because it usually represents like moving in a better direction, right? Moving in the direction of passion, harmony, love. And the Moon card showing up it usually tends to be like quite an emotional card. It represents like emotionally how you feel. I think you're recognizing though, a lot of the time, it's like when people hurt you, it's because hurt people, right? People are very driven by emotion. And I think that this year you're holding high restraint. It's not about allowing your emotions to overrule you anymore. It's about recognizing there is the energy of reaction and there's the energy of response. I don't want to keep on emotionally reacting to situations that happen. When something happens that bothers me, instead of taking it out, getting really angry and reacting instantaneously, I want to take back control of how I choose to respond to the situation instead of react to it. So let's say somebody's going out of their way to trigger me. Do I really want to give them the reaction they're looking for? Do I really want to give them my energy? Or do I want to take a moment to take a deep breath and say, you know what? They're not even worth it. They're coming from a hurt place. I feel for them. I hope they do better. But I'm not going to let them get to me because I have a conscious choice. I can choose to engage in somebody's negative behavior and claim that their negative behavior is valid and allow it to hurt me. Or I can choose to say, I don't resonate with what the hell they're saying. So they can say whatever they want, but I'm going to choose to stay in my high vibrating energy. The point is you have a choice. You're always going to have a choice on whether you react or you respond. And 2024, I think, is going to be about just tapping into the energy of love. I'm looking to be in a loving place, a happy place, a good place. And sure, you're going to have some encounters this year, I'm sure, that may not be so loving and so peaceful, that may come from other people. But once again, it's about practicing that response versus a reaction. You have here the Star card. Star card here says, as long as I focus on staying on my path and I don't let any other individuals distract me and take me down the wrong path, then I'm doing a-okay. I think a lot of people in life can get misdirected pretty easily, especially when they start letting things or people get to them. When people start losing their focus and they're actively triggered all the time, and when people are allowing other people to constantly trigger them, they get thrown off their course very, very easily. And that's the last thing you want to do. You always want to stay on your course. You want to stay on your path. So in 2024 for you, Scorpio, it's a time where it's like, wish people love, man. Wish them well. For they not know what they do, however the hell that's said, and just keep it moving. Your life is based upon your choices. And if you're choosing to be happy, then you don't have to choose to accept anybody's negativity. You have a choice on whether or not to accept that. So keep it moving, wish them well, and then move forward and focus on your life of peace, of tranquility, of love, and stay in your high vibrating energy. Nobody can get to you unless you let them. Okay? So definitely something to remember here coming into 2024. Really, really powerful stuff here too. All right? All right, guys. This was your 3 major themes for 2024. We're now going to go ahead and hop on into your roses of the year. Now, I do want to let you guys know the roses of the year are pretty much going to be the highs of the year. So it's going to be 3 of the good things happening for you in 2024. So we'll discuss that. And then after the rose section, we're going to look at your thorns because every rose has its thorn. So we'll take a look at some of the things that maybe aren't the best that could happen this year. These will be things that you want to avoid. But as I'm giving you this insight early, you guys have that free will, right? So at the end of the day, we can choose to consciously avoid these things. Kind of like how I said earlier, If you're aware about something, you can make a choice on whether or not and how to navigate it. By having the awareness with the thorns, we can choose to avoid these types of situations, okay? So let's get into your rose section here first. Like I mentioned, these are going to be the highs of the year. So what is going to be the first rose coming in here for Scorpio? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus coming into the year of 2024. What is the first rose showing up for our Scorpios? Let's go ahead and take a look. We have here the Benefactor card, Grace and Generosity, and we have here Stars in the Sky, Limitless Possibility. I like it. Really cool rose coming into play. Taking a look here at your next rose, Scorpio, what's it gonna be? We have here the Galactic Mushroom, the Divine Matrix, and Horned Cactus, Resourcefulness. And then taking a look here at our final rose for 2024, what's gonna be the final rose coming in here for Scorpios? We have here Moon Maiden, New Beginnings, and we have here Whale Song, Resonating. So let's get into it. We're going to start out here with your first rose, and then we'll expand on that, okay? Now, with the first rose coming into play for you, Benefactor, Grace and Generosity, Stars in the Sky, Limitless Possibility. I definitely feel like the highs of the year for you guys is going to be about understanding that there's limitless potential. You have so much possibility to make things happen. You have so much potential to make things happen, and I think a lot of you are going to no longer limit yourselves or believe that you're limited. There's a lot of people in the world that can believe they're at a disadvantage when they're not. There's a lot of people in the world that could also be in a victim mentality that can believe they're victims when they're not. And I'm not saying that this is you. I'm just giving that out as an example. The truth is that we're all equal no matter what. We are all souls having a human experience. So everybody has the potential to very, very massively succeed or also very, very massively fail. And it's going to be determined upon you. It will never fall back on anything else. It's always going to fall back on you and what you've decided to do with your life. So the point is that you have this limitless possibility. And I think a lot of you are going to start to realize that. I'm so tired of limiting myself. You know, if you've limited yourself before, based on past experiences you've had, based on your circumstances you faced when you were a kid, based on the circumstances you're facing now, if you tell yourself that these are limitations, they will be limitations. But if you tell yourself, no, that can't stop me, then it will not stop you, right? Your mindset is really everything. You know, there are people out there who have suffered, you know, they've gone through some really harsh times, or they've gone through like an accident, you know, maybe somebody lost a limb. And some people will have that happen and be like, I'm never going to run again. Other people get a prosthetic leg. They go out there and they win marathons. Because the point is whatever you think is going to limit you will. But if you don't allow things to limit you, you're tapping into limitless energy. Now we have here Benefactor, Grace and Generosity. When you move with grace and when you move with generosity, you are in an abundant frequency, okay? Abundance is a person who is constantly in a space where they know and acknowledge that they are grateful for what they have in this world, and they're not afraid to share that wealth. Individuals who are abundant in love want to share love as much as possible. Individuals who are abundant in money, they love to make money, right? So at the end of the day, when you're abundant in something, you are always putting out that frequency. So what are you wanting to be abundant in this year? What are you looking to attract, Scorpio? Are you looking to attract romance and more love? If that's the case, it's time to love yourself a heck of a lot more. Because what you do onto yourself is what gets reflected out into the world. So if we love ourselves more, then we're manifesting and we're sitting in the vibration of love and we're attracting love. If you are interested in making more money, start seeing the value that you can provide from within, and the value you provide to people, the byproduct will be the money. So the point is, guys, is what we're putting in is what we get back. But if we can do it with grace and generosity, aka if we can do what we do onto ourselves, it will manifest in the external. So if we can be generously loving ourselves, we will be generously loved, right? That's what it really comes down to. So I think that these are some super important things to focus on coming into the year. And I love seeing this happen for you, because a lot of you guys are going to be overcoming limitations in 2024, especially when you might have previously told yourself you were limited. And a lot of you guys as well are going to start to see what true abundance is actually like. It all starts with you. It doesn't start with the external. A lot of people think in order for me to love myself, I need to find someone to love me first. No, you got to love yourself first to then find someone who loves you. That's what it really comes down to, right? So definitely some things to be mindful of, but let's go ahead and expand. We're going to expand on this energy. and see what we got. So what expansion cards do we have here for this first rose? For Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus throughout 2024. We have here the Page of Swords, and we have here the Six of Swords. And that's also going to be followed up here with the Three of Wands, paired here to the Three of Swords. Now, Page of Swords showing up to a Six of Swords. The Page of Swords is hesitancy, okay? This is a card where maybe you're too nervous to go after something or do something. Maybe you are a little bit held back to say your truth and speak your truth and communicate. Typically, the Page of Swords is a relatively limiting card. And remember, this year, your life is going to start to become limitless possibility. So I think a lot of you are deciding to move forward from limitations, as I've already previously stated. But how do we do that? Well, first and foremost, let's talk about the idea of fear. Fear is nothing more than false evidence appearing real, but fear limits people every day. Now, how do we break out of fear? You face it. Every time you do something that scares the hell out of you, it becomes way less scary each and every single time. So let's say, for example, you're terrified of going on roller coasters. I used to be. I used to be terrified of the thought of ever being on a roller coaster. But I remember being 13, going to Dorney Park in Pennsylvania, getting on a roller coaster called the Hydra. And I remember getting on into that roller coaster, scared, shitting bricks, but I did it. And after the first drop, all that fear went away, all that adrenaline kicked in. And as I faced my fear, I said right after that ride, hey, I said to my sister, we're going on the next one, right? So when you face the fears you have in front of you, each and every single time, it's a little less scary. Sometimes you overcome it completely the first time you face it. Other times it takes a couple more tries. But facing fear is what removes limitation. Okay, so fear can be a limiting factor. But there's a lot of other things in life that could be a limiting factor. But so long as you tell yourself that I'm not going to let this create a limitation, it won't be a limitation unless you allow it to be. So Six of Swords, we're moving past limitations here, and that's going to be a major, major, major thing for you coming into this year, because it's going to provide so much room for you to achieve and to be great. Okay, Scorpio? Now, we also have here the Three of Wands, and we have here the Three of Swords. I think the Three of Wands being a card of stagnation, it's typically a card of just waiting for things to happen to you in life. I see a lot of you overcoming that. Three of Swords can represent pain, but it also could represent separation. And to a degree, I feel like the Three of Swords here paired to the Three of Wands is saying, honestly, waiting for things to happen for me in life has created a lot of pain. You know, waiting for the perfect guy to come into my life has created a lot of pain, because at the end of the day, I've been yearning for someone to love me, but in actuality, I've been struggling to love myself. You know, maybe I've been waiting for that amazing job to come in because it's been so hard financially. But the point is that I've needed to take action. I shouldn't have been waiting this whole time. I should have been going after those crazy jobs that are going to get me financially secure, right? If we don't do anything about what we want, we're not getting what we want. We're just going to be waiting forever, because stagnation only attracts more stagnancy. So in 2024, you guys are removing the energy of stagnancy. You're removing the energy of limitation. You're removing the energy of doubt and fear, and you're really allowing yourself to say, I can do anything that I put my mind to. I can do anything that I want, and the only time I will have a limitation is if I tell myself this is limiting and will be limiting to me. So it's about overcoming the mental game, and the mental game is one of the hardest ones to overcome. Wouldn't you guys agree? Because most people, man, when it comes to physical things, sure, they can overcome something physically, but mentally, that's the real fucking battle. It's up here. And you guys are going to make hella crazy shifts in 2024 where you're defeating those inner demons and those negative thoughts that have created so much limitation in your life. And as you overcome that this year, you guys are breaking the barrier, doing things you thought you would never do before. So that's fucking powerful. I love it. Moving forward into your next rose, we have here Galactic Mushroom, the Divine Matrix, and then we have here Horned Cactus, which is resourcefulness. Now, it's interesting because when you think about the Matrix will always try to tell you you don't have the resources, right, Scorpio? Society will say, we don't have enough money. Society will say, we don't have enough happiness. We don't have enough this. We don't have enough that. The point is that resourcefulness isn't always necessarily depicted upon how other people can provide a resource to you. You could be just as resourceful as the next, right? So I think a lot of people kind of rely a little bit too much on either matrix things like the government, or people rely a little bit too much on other people and other things for resources. I think 2024 is going to show you you're more resourceful than you've given yourself credit for. You know, the Matrix tries to tell us we don't have what we need to succeed, but everything you need already exists within you. Okay? If you don't have a skill, go out and get the skill. You know, there's Google, there's YouTube. You can learn hundreds of skills in a day if you wanted to. So anytime you tell yourself you don't have the resources, you're telling yourself a lie, because anything you desire already exists on this physical plane. I don't have the money. Money's getting printed every day. Then why don't I have it in my bank account? Because you got to work for it, baby. Right? I don't have a lover in my life. People fall in love every day. Then why don't I have love? Well, you got to love yourself first. When you love yourself first, you attract another person that comes into that vibration who loves you. Right? So the point is we're always going to have all the resources we need, but we got to stop believing that they're scarce. Because when we adapt a scarcity mindset, we're always going to be never having enough of what we feel like we need. And we're always going to be living in need, by the way, never living in abundance. So 2024 is going to show you you're very, very resourceful. Now let's get into it. Let's break it down here with these expansion cards. What information do we have here regarding our second rose? Let's get our first expansion set. We have here the 8 of Cups, and we have here the 10 of Cups. I love that. We also have here the Devil, and we have here the Knight of Swords. Now, the 8 of Cups and the 10 of Cups is cool because 10 minus 8 is 2, which creates the 2 of Cups. Now, the 8 of Cups typically represents the energy of walking towards something or walking away from something, and the 10 of Cups represents the ultimate fulfillment, right? Whatever's going to truly make you happy in life. Now, the reason why I mentioned 10 minus 8 is 2 is because the 2 of Cups represents genuine connection, right? Getting to the goal. So a lot of you, I feel, have struggled to meet your goal. What you've been missing this whole time was that 2 of Cups to get to the 10. 2024 is going to allow you to figure out, how do I get my 2 of Cups? How do I get from point A to point B? Because maybe you were the kind of person who was telling yourself, I don't have the resources, you know? I don't have the smarts to get into this college that I want to get into. Then study. Study your fucking ass off. Train yourself, because guess what? You could have the smarts if you really want it. That's your 2 of Cups. Your 2 of Cups is it's time to really sit down and study. You know, I don't have the kind of skills to get this job. The 2 of Cups is obtaining the skill. But if you're telling yourself you can't do it, you're telling yourself that you have a limitation. And anytime you tell yourself you're limited, so mote it be. So how do we get the 2 of Cups? We have to no longer tell ourselves that that 2 of Cups is scarce. We have to recognize that the resource is there, but we need to recognize where the resource is and how we access it. And that's what the major key is here. And that's what many of you are starting to see in 2024. It's kind of like figuring things out in ways you never have. It's like maybe you've always struggled with money, and this is the year you figure out exactly how to make more money because you have found the resource that works for you. Maybe many of you were constantly struggling with who you wanted to be in life, but now you have figured out that you have everything you need to be the person you desire, you know? So I think that in terms of resources, a lot of people have a bit of a scarcity mindset, and there's no judgment. I've lived a good portion of my life in a scarcity mindset, believing that I never had the things I needed to succeed. But you're going to find your 2 of Cups this year. You're going to find your resources, and you're going to be abundant. Now, looking at the next expansion set, the Devil here and the Knight of Swords. The Devil says that you're in a space where you're stuck. You are never going to break the cycle. You are always never going to have enough. Doesn't that remind you of a lot of what we see in the media? People are living paycheck to paycheck, and it is a reality, by the way. It's not a not reality. It is a reality. Many people are living paycheck to paycheck due to inflation, due to COVID, due to a lot of the stuff going on in the world. But the truth is the resources are there. You know, the richer get richer. Meanwhile, they could maybe extend those resources if they wanted to. But don't rely on that, right? Don't rely on the rich people deciding to help, you know, everybody else out. They found a way to find their resources. You got to find a way to find yours. Because in this world, you are on your own when it comes to your own kind of version of creating the life you want. It's not going to be other people helping you. It's going to be you doing it by yourself. So how do we figure this out, right? The Devil card. When we're in a world where they want to keep us trapped, how do we free ourselves from the matrix, right? Well, you stop relying on others to provide the resource. You have to be the person to find the resource and provide it to yourself. That's the big lesson in 2024. And seeing the Knight of Swords showing up, that's the energy of going out there and getting it, you know, being incredibly motivated to go do it. It's like, fuck it, I'm going to make this happen. You know, my job doesn't want to pay me enough. I'm starting my own business and I'm going to make sure I pay myself $200,000, $300,000 a year. You know, at the end of the day, all these other motherfuckers out here don't want to show me love and kindness. I'm going to show me love and kindness because I deserve it. So as long as you allow yourself to recognize that the resources are out there, just do your research to get the resources and don't rely on other people for the resourceful energy, because most of the time, it's a very big truth. You're on your own. You know, other people ain't there to help, but you got to be the person there to help you. Okay? So Scorpios, you're going to see this showing up here as your second rose, and it's going to benefit you so much. You're going to become incredibly fucking resourceful in the year of 2024. You're going to figure out exactly how to get from point A to point B, whereas in the past, you've probably struggled to get from point A to point B, but you're getting it figured out. And that's the beauty of it all. Seriously. So I love it, guys. So far, these two roses, fantastic. Let's get into your final rose. For your final rose, we have here Moon Maiden, which says new beginnings, and we have here Whale Song, which is the card that says resonating. Now, new beginnings are fantastic for everybody. It's a fresh start. It's a fresh perspective. We can go anywhere we want to go. We can be anybody we want to be. Remember that you can have a new beginning every day if you'd like to. You can have a new beginning whenever the hell you want to. Just because yesterday that was the person you were doesn't mean today you need to be that same exact person. Just because your circumstances in the past weren't great, don't mean that today your circumstances can't be improved. So the point here is that you can have a new beginning whenever the hell you want to, but it's all going to depend upon your vibrational resonance, okay? What is the vibration you're putting out there? Because what you are putting out is what you're attracting. You don't necessarily attract what you want, you attract what it is you are. If you're a very unhappy person, you could attract very unhappy situations. If you are a person who is constantly complaining, the universe will give you more to complain about. If you are a person who's grateful, the universe will give you more to be grateful about. If you're a person who's happy-go-lucky, you will find a lot of happy-go-lucky situations. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. So your vibrational resonance is key. And if you want to reinvent yourself this year, I already told you guys earlier, I believe, in the 3 major themes, it is a fantastic year to reinvent yourself and switch and change and shift your identity. Okay, let's get into it. What kind of expansion cards do we have here for this final rose for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus throughout the year 2024? Let's go ahead and take a look. We have here the Knight of Pentacles, and we have here the Ten of Swords. Absolutely. And let's get one more expansion set for you guys. We have here the Tower, which is the Scorpio card, and we have here the Fool card coming into play for you as well, which is Aries energy. Now let's have a look at this. Knight of Pentacles to the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords represents ending something. Knight of Pentacles represents longevity, something that's been happening for a very long time. So I feel like a lot of you are going to start to get very fed up if you've been dealing with situations that have been very long and drawn out, especially situations you're not particularly happy with. 2024 is going to be the year where you are done dealing with the bullshit. Okay, so let's say you've been in a lengthy romantic relationship with somebody who doesn't appreciate you, who doesn't show that they are worthy of you, who doesn't appreciate or see your value. You're going to say to yourself, why have I been in this long drawn out connection that doesn't make me happy? At the end of the day, if I'm in this vibration where I don't feel worthy or where I don't feel like I deserve to be loved, I'm going to keep allowing somebody like this to keep making me feel this way, right? So at the end of the day, if I know what my value, my worth is, I'm not going to be with somebody who doesn't see my value and my worth. So with that being said, I got to look at my vibrational resonance. What am I resonating with within myself that's calling in and attracting all these other factors and circumstances? So 2024, I'm done with the long drawn out bullshit. If I've been in a relationship with somebody who doesn't love me, and I don't necessarily love myself, something's got to change. I shouldn't allow somebody to be in a relationship with me who doesn't love me. I shouldn't be in a relationship with somebody who treats me like shit. I got to treat myself the best. And the first key to that is breaking up with somebody who don't treat me great, right? And then I got to start treating myself better. And as my vibrational resonance changes, as my frequency changes, I start to tune my frequency and I start to attract people who match that. So I'm here now. I'm a Scorpio in 2024. I love myself now. Now I'm attracting people who actually love me. Whereas maybe in the past, my frequency, it was, I don't love myself. So I was attracting unloving people, unsupportive people. You feel me, right? So Scorpios, getting rid of the long drawn out unhappiness or the things in life that have been honestly around for a while that have been creating you, or that have been creating unhappiness in your life. You're starting to see, like, where's my frequency lie? What can I do to tune and change my frequency, to change my circumstances, to change what I'm attracting? So that's a big thing coming up here for 2024 as well. And you're going to love removing yourself from those situations because it's going to provide so much room for better people and better circumstances to come in. Now, looking at your last expansion set, the Tower and the Fool. You can break away and you can leave and you can walk away from anyone and anything at any given time. You can have a new beginning tomorrow if you wanted to, right? Because it's your life. You don't have to be the same person you were yesterday. So the Tower card here says, it's time for you to become aware that life is your creation. The world is your oyster. You don't have to be subjected to your circumstances. You have the ability to change your circumstances. And all it's going to take is taking that first step, the Fool card. By taking that leap of faith and walking away from what doesn't serve you and only settling for the situations that actually serve you best. I hate this job. It's not good for me. It makes me unhappy. I feel unhealthy working here. The pay sucks. Walk away from it. Value yourself. Settle for a job that's going to pay you exactly what you deserve and that's good for your health, and watch how quickly you manifest that shit. Because that's what you're consciously choosing. You're not choosing the shitty job anymore. I'm fit and I'm deserving of the good job. Watch yourself get it. Right? So the Tower here says, be aware that at any given time, you have the power to change your life and change your circumstances. But it depends upon where your vibration is resonating. So check in with yourself and check where your vibrational resonance is. I talk about vibrational resonance a lot. Maybe I'll make a separate video on that. I'm not sure if that's an actual term, but it's a term I've always used. So maybe I'm the creator of that term, who knows? But your vibrational resonance is key because where you're resonating vibrationally is what you're attracting. Okay? So I love that, guys. Your 3 roses are fantastic. There is a lot changing here in 2024, and there's a lot of good stuff coming in. Seriously. No more limitations. Many of you guys are starting to see that the world is abundant. There is resources everywhere for me. I just need to access them. And now that I'm not believing that I have limiting factors anymore, I can access my resources. I'm not in a scarcity mindset anymore. I've become resourceful, right? Beautiful. And lastly, I can change my life whenever I want to. I don't need to be subjected to my circumstances, but what I need to pay attention to is my vibration, right? What is my vibration? What is my frequency? Where has it been tuned? And if there's room for improvement, where can I tune my vibration to start attracting better things for myself? So I think a lot of you are starting to really raise your vibe here, and you're really starting to see your worthiness and your value, and that's going to equate to what you're attracting. You're going to start attracting what you're worth. Beautiful Scorpios. I love it, guys. Really fantastic rose section coming into play for you. I love it. We're going to be getting into your thorn section here next, so just bear with me while I get the cards ready, and then we'll hop on in, okay? Very cool, though. That was an awesome one. All right, so we have touched base here so far with our roses. We've also done the 3 major themes. What's going to be coming up next for you guys is going to be your thorns. Then we'll take a look at how you can be your greatest version in 2024. Then we'll look at the final outcome for you. So we got about 3 more sections to go. If you've been watching this far, you're a real one. These videos are super long, but thank you for taking the time here. You know, this is all for you guys. This is, you know, as much information as I can jam pack into a video about your year ahead. So if this is something that you love, hit the like button, you know, just getting all this extra insight. But 1 second, y'all, and then we're hopping into the thorns, okay? All right, let's get into the thorns. So hopping into our thorn section for Scorpio. Like I said about thorns earlier, they're nothing to be afraid of. As you're getting this insight and information early on, you have every opportunity to avoid this stuff. So this is some of the stuff that can happen in 2024 that you might not be super happy with, but I'm going to tell you guys how to avoid it, how to implement a better paradigm, and how to move forward instead. So let's get into it, okay? What's going to be the first thorn coming in here for Scorpio throughout the year 2024? We have here the Joyful Muse, and we have here Hollow Bone. Taking a look here at the next thorn for Scorpio, what's it going to be? We have here the crossing, which says initiation, and we have here stranger, which says curiosity. Having a look here at our last thorn for the year of 2024, what's it going to be for Scorpio? We have here the wailing tree, and we have here magician's sword, reconciliations, and confidence in your magic. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and talk about it, guys. So your first thorn coming to mind, or coming into play, is the joyful muse, inspiration, and the hollow bone, teachability. This, I feel, is doubt, right? When it comes to being inspired, have you ever felt inspired to do something? Have you ever felt inspired to get into a new career field? Have you ever felt inspired to pick up and play an instrument? But the moment you felt that inspiration come in, it fleeted away so quickly when you told yourself that I don't know how to do that. So then, therefore, if I don't know how to do that, probably not going to do it, right? But the thing is teachability reminds you that we're all able to be taught something. People weren't born knowing how to shred on a fucking guitar. You know, a baby didn't pop out and just start shredding. You know what I'm saying? They learned that shit. You know, a engineer didn't necessarily, you know, come into the engineering field knowing exactly what to do. You know, the engineer had to learn ahead of time of how to be an engineer, right? So the point is everything in life is teachable. Everything in life you're able to be taught. So when you feel inspired, don't let that inspiration be shut down so quickly, guys. Teach yourself how to do what you felt inspired to do. Maybe recently you have felt inspired to take upon a new kind of career path, but you're not familiar with the career path at all. You have no fucking clue. Hey, I had no fucking clue either. I had no clue that this channel would become what it became. I had no clue when I was younger how to edit, so I taught myself to edit. I had no clue how to make videos. I taught myself how to make videos. I had no clue how to use certain programs. You get the gist. I taught myself how to use certain programs, right? Point is, guys, is you can be self-made and self-taught. You can learn anything, especially in the age of Aquarius, which is all information. We got Google, we got YouTube, we got Bing, even though probably nobody uses Bing. Safari, probably a lot of people use. There's a lot of Mac users out there, but I will always be a part of the PCs, okay? Because Windows is the shit. Regardless, though, guys, we're getting off topic. Point is don't let that fleeting feeling of inspiration be taken away by not knowing something. Learn it. You're fucking capable, period. And I see that this is one of the things this year that could potentially hurt you, where you get excited, you get inspired, but you let the doubt creep in. You let those thoughts that say, hey, you can't do this because you don't know what you're doing. And automatically you shut down that inspiration. When little do you know that inspiration could have been the universe kind of pointing you in a direction, right? Saying, hey, this would be a great career field for you. Start learning up about it, start investing time into it. Boom, you'd be super happy. But you might have just missed out on a direction of your path because you decided to let doubt come in rather than be open to learning. Okay, let's get some expansion cards and see what's up. Starting out here with the first expansion set for Scorpio on this first thorn. Let's get some insight and see what's going on. We have here the Seven of Swords. Yep, 100%. And we have here the Star. You know, telling yourself something can't be a part of your path due to limiting factors. There's a lot about limitation, guys, that have been coming up in your reading here all throughout 2024. I've seen it in every single kind of spread we've done so far. Limitation, limitation, limitation. You know, a limited mind is a limited life. The person who thinks freely is abundant. Remember that. Write that down if you can. You know, make it a quote. But it's true. Seven of Swords here says, I'm a card of self-deception. And I may have a path, I may have a calling, I may feel called towards something, but the moment I start standing in my own way is the moment where I'm not going to see that path through to completion. So the point is that in the year of 2024, don't shoot yourself down before you even ever gave it a shot. Okay, guys? Because that is going to definitely deter you from some openings and opportunities the universe is trying to provide. There's going to be a fuck ton of opportunity for you in 2024, but if you keep shooting yourself down before even trying to learn about something or even giving yourself the opportunity to try out something, then you're going to put yourself in a spot where there's nothing but missed opportunity, and that's the last thing you want to do. Having a look here at your next expansion set for 2024, what's going to be the next expansion set here for Scorpio? We have here the Eight of Swords, and we have here the Eight of Wands. Absolutely. Eight of Swords is the energy of being inside your head, the energy of overthinking. Eight of Wands is the energy of doing. How do we get out of the energy of overthinking and into the energy of doing? Don't think, just do. And I know that sounds so simple, but yet it's so damn complex, right? Because what's the thing that naturally we want to do? Like, especially if you're like an anxious person, naturally you want to think first before you do, right? You want to think 30 times before you do something. But the point is we have to be in the energy of doing and being, and not in the energy of thinking about doing or being. So in 2024, let's say inspiration comes into play. For some reason, I feel so inspired to get into the fashion industry and I know nothing about fashion. Instead of thinking about it, and thinking about, well, what if this doesn't work out? What if that doesn't work out? Just do it. Go shadow somebody who's in the fashion world. You know, be a shadow for them. Go do an internship and learn some shit. You know, allow yourself to Google or go on YouTube and watch videos of how people got into fashion and started fashion businesses. Get the knowledge. The resources, like we talked about in your roses, are there, and they're there for free. There might be some janky person selling a course for $2,000, but you don't need to buy that course. I promise you can get it all for free. Okay? So the point is, guys, you have so much calling to you in 2024, but so much opportunity can be missed if you allow yourself to say, well, I don't know what I'm doing and I doubt I can do this, and I'm not even going to bother learning because I'm not smart enough. Forget the limitations. If you create a limitation for yourself, you will be limited, right? So let's remove that limitation. Let's actually allow that inspiration to be held. Hold on to that inspiration. Learn something new. Adapt some sort of skill and roll with it, because you can do anything. You can learn anything. You can be taught anything. So take these cues, because these opportunities will come by from the universe in 2024. You don't want to miss out on them just because you were so caught up in your head. Okay? All right, hopping on into our second thorn here for 2024 Scorpio, we have here the Stranger card, which says curiosity, and we have the Crossing, which says initiation. Getting caught between being curious about something and then actually going towards something is a bit of a difficult thing I see coming in for you. It's a pretty hard situation because you can be curious, but taking that extra step sometimes is very difficult. How many people do you know in your life that are always like, I'm curious what this is about, and they say it about 100 times and they still, after the 100th time, never checked it out? Like, yeah, I think I'm pretty interested in like this book. They've never read it, and they probably won't read it even though they keep saying they're interested in reading it. Oh yeah, I really wanted to go watch this show. They still haven't started the first season. Oh yeah, I don't know, like I'm really thinking about like getting my CDL. They never even went to the DMV. You know, so there's a lot of people that do that. And if you are included in one of those types of people, Scorpio, you're going to always be sitting in the shoulda, coulda, wouldas rather than getting to see what was on the other side of the grass, you know? So what do you not want to do? You don't want to be the person who's constantly curious. You want to be the person that knows what's on the other side. So let's get into it. We're going to get some expansion cards in this one, okay? You have a lot of repetitive themes here, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think that these repetitive themes are good because these are the ones we can mainly focus in on and lock in on in 2024 and create better behaviors towards, which in all will help you, you know? But what's going to be the first expansion set for this second thorn? We have here the Queen of Cups. We have here the Hermit. And what's going to be the next expansion set for the second thorn? We have here the Two of Cups. We have here the Four of Pentacles. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about it. First things first, Queen of Cups showing up here, Hermit showing up here, right? Queen of Cups is the energy of your emotions. So naturally, when we're curious, we're also pretty emotionally invested in what we're curious about. So if we're really curious about what a certain job would be like, we tend to get very emotionally involved. That can be an asset. That could also be something that isn't beneficial, because sometimes if we're getting emotionally involved, but we're sliding into the emotional side of doubt, we're sliding into the emotional side of, I probably wouldn't be good at it. If we're sliding into the negativity part, what's going to end up happening is we're going to prevent ourselves, from going for it, right? It's pretty similar to what I even said here in this first thorn about not even getting started, because you're telling yourself you don't have the ability to do this, you're not competent, etc. So what you want to do is when you get curious about something, don't lead into the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Lead into the, if I do this, this can happen. If I do that, this can happen. Don't think about shoulda, coulda, wouldas or what ifs Imagine the results you will have if you do the thing you're curious about. I'm curious about starting to go to the gym. Don't think about, well, should I? What would happen if I did? No. If you go to the gym, what can you expect? If you stay consistent, if you stay disciplined, you can expect results. You're going to get fucking shredded and ripped, right? So therefore, don't sit there in the curiosity. See what's on the other side. AKA, in hindsight, get the results. Point blank, period. But if you start leaning into the negative side of your emotions, you're never going to get your feet off the ground. Hermit. Now, we also have here the Two of Cups, and we have here the Four of Pentacles. It's basically the same message, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this thorn, because it is rather similar to this thorn too. But essentially, guys, Two of Cups says, you can have what you want, but you're not going to have it if you don't go for it. It's as simple as that, and I don't want to over-explain it, and I definitely don't want to waste more time, because this video is going to be a super long one, okay? So yeah, Scorpios, curiosity. Curiosity is natural. It's okay to be curious. You should be curious. However, though, don't be that person who's always curious and never finds out what's on the other side. Give yourself the time to find out what's on the other side, you know? Don't think about the shoulda, coulda, wouldas or the what ifs. You know what will happen if you do this, right? And if you don't know what will happen if you do something, find it out, period, okay? All right, guys, hopping on into our last thorn. We have here the Wailing Tree, which says reconciliations, and we have Magician's Sword, which says confidence in your magic. Reconciliation's interesting. Have you ever seen the people in your life? I'm sure you have a couple friends like this where they constantly go back to the old ex-boyfriend. Even though if they were confident enough, if they allow themselves to walk forward, they'd probably find a better man, but they always end up back with Jacob or something like that. The problem is with reconciliations isn't always the worst thing in the world. It's okay to reconcile with something that you've connected with in the past, but when you have a constant theme of going back to the past, you are not living in the present and creating forward strides for the future. You are going to find yourself back where you were previously, and it's probably going to be the same, if not a very similar situation with little changes. So I think that for 2024, with this last thorn coming into play, it's trying to say, avoid reconciling with your past. It's time to have confidence in your magic to create something new. The Magician's Sword is literally the Ace of Swords in the tarot, which says it's time to break free from the past and the lifestyle you're living and to do something different. Because at the end of the day, right, repetition's the mother of learning. If we keep repeating something and we keep getting the same result, you're only going to keep on getting the same result. But if you break free from what you've been constantly reconciling with and reinvesting in, you will start to have a different result come into play for you. Okay, so I really believe here with the Magician's Sword, not the Magician's shorts. All right, at the end of the day, with the Magician's Sword coming into play for you, you need to have confidence in your magic. A lot of people get caught in the past a lot because they tell themselves, you know, nothing's ever going to be better than what I had. You see the girl go back to Jacob 37 times. Like the number 37, you see her go back to Jacob 37 times because she doesn't believe that there's ever going to be anyone better than Jacob. She was like, I experienced the best I was ever going to get. And that's bullshit. Look at me, Scorpio. Come here. Bullshit. That's what it is. It's bullshit. There's always better, man. There's always someone. There's always something better. You know, the best is yet to fucking come. Let's get into it. Let's get this expansion set popping, okay? What's going to be the first expansion set coming in here for Scorpio? Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus throughout the year of 2024. What's going to be the first expansion set we have? We have here the Three of Cups. We have here the Ten of Cups. Looking at the next expansion set for you, I believe that's an Eight of Swords. It is an Eight of Swords. And we have here a Two of Wands. Let me go pick that up real quick. Bear with me. Oh, no, it's not an Eight of Swords. It is a Nine of Swords. My apologies, guys. All right. Let's take a look. So, first thing that we see here. First expansion set. Three of Cups, Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups represents the ultimate fulfillment. Like, nothing can be better than this. The Three of Cups represents celebration, enjoyment, happiness. Now, what's 10 minus the 3? It's the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups represents life's vast opportunities. So if we keep on moving in the direction of reconciling with our previous opportunities, we're never going to get to experience the new ones. And if you only believe what you've previously dealt with is the best you're ever going to get, you're never going to be able to see the better opportunities because you're never going to be open to new opportunities in the first place. So 2024 says on this last thorn, the last thing you want to do is continuously keep on going backwards. You want to keep on continuously going forward. You need to tap out of the energy that where you were was the best it was ever going to get. And you need to start having a more open-minded possibility that the best has yet to come. Because if you actually open up your mind to that, you're going to witness that there's better things out there. There's better people out there, better circumstances, better scenarios. It exists for you. But in order to get there, you need the 7 of Cups. You need to be able to be willing to explore life's vast opportunities. Now we have a 9 of Swords and we have a 2 of Swords. Here's the big trap. The big trap says, well, what if nothing is better? What if I don't find anybody better than Jacob? What if I don't find a better job than where I am today? You know? You ever see people who constantly quit a job and then go back to that job like, you know, a year later and then they do it repetitively? Dude, there's a better job, I promise you. But if you don't believe that, and if you're not open to life's vast opportunities, how could you even find a better job, okay? So the one thing you want to avoid here this year, Scorpio, with this last thorn, is constantly going back to your past or constantly going back to the same behaviors. You can't, if you're constantly in a state where you are doing the same thing, expecting a different result, you're never going to get a different result. You're only going to get the same result. If you want a different result, you got to do some new shit, okay? So definitely something to be mindful of. But with that being said here, Team Scorpio, these were your thorns. And as I looked at the screen, it was 55-55. By the way, 555 in numerology represents vast and major changes. So to me, that's a really good sign that there are going to be some positive changes coming in for you guys. I think a hell of a lot of positive changes. There you go for you guys in 2024. But quick little debrief. All right. Joyful Muse, Hollow Bone. If you feel inspired to do something this year, realize that even if you don't necessarily have the skill or you don't know what you're doing, you can learn it, you can figure it out. So don't let doubt step into play and block you and basically keep you in a stagnant place. You can do whatever the hell you want, and you can learn anything you want to learn. Stranger and the Crossing. You're never going to know what's on the other side unless you actually go out there and see it. Capitalize on opportunities that are handed to you. Capitalize on opportunities that are granted and that are showing up in your life. Don't let the negative side of your emotions hold you back. Lastly, stop going backwards. You know, stop going backwards. It's the time to go forward. You know, if you're always stuck on stupid, you're going to be dealing with stupid for life. But if you move forward from that, you know, from that individual, and if you're open to meeting new people, you're going to meet Mr. or Mrs. Charming, you know? So the point is it's time to go forward, not backwards. If we're constantly reconciling, we're always going to get the same results we've had. And if we believe that we had the best, we're never going to get to see that the best is yet to come because there is always something better, but you got to be willing to be open to it. Okay? All right, guys, those were your thorns here for the year of 2024. We're going to hop on into almost our last and final spread, which is going to be what a Scorpio need to do this year to become their greatest version. So let me get these cards together and we will take a look, okay? I'm wondering if I want to pull an oracle card for you. Fuck it, we'll pull an oracle card. So what does Scorpio have to do here in the year 2024 to become their greatest version? Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What is something they need to do to become their greatest version? First card, we have the Unmarked Trail, Revelation. I love it. First and foremost, your life is not predestined or predetermined. At least not within my beliefs. Some people may believe otherwise, and you are totally fine to have whatever belief you desire. But the way that I see it, your life is determined based upon the action, the choices, and the will you have to lead it in whatever direction you so see fit. So you have an unmarked trail, Scorpio. You can take life to wherever you want it to be. You can be literally whoever you want to be. So what does the greatest version of yourself look like to you? How do you look physically? How do you feel emotionally? What is surrounding you if you're your greatest version? How much money is in your bank account? These are things to visualize. These are things to look at. And when you figure out who that greatest version is, it's time to make an identity shift. You are now on an unmarked trail, meaning that you don't know where your life is going. But the revelation is is that you're in control of your life. So when you figure out the identity of the Scorpio you want to be, then it's time to start embodying that energy. If you want to be the Scorpio who's kind to everybody, it's time to embody kindness. If you're the Scorpio who wants to be disciplined, it's time to embody discipline. If you're the Scorpio who wants to be success, it's time to embody success. To be that greatest version, you need to mark your own trail. Okay? And you can do that by choosing the identity in which you want to show up in this world. All right, guys? Let's get some extra insights for sure. What other information do we have here for Scorpio on how they can be their greatest version? Page of Pentacles here, Page of Swords. Stop being hesitant. That was a huge theme throughout your whole reading. Stop being hesitant. This is the time right now to take action. It's the time right now to make investments. So please invest, invest, invest. Don't be scared to be a new version of yourself. Don't be scared to do something you've never done before. Don't be scared to do something that's scary. As long as you are consciously and continuously doing the things you need to do for success, you're going to have it, okay? Moving along here forward, what else does Scorpio need to do to become their greatest version in 2024? We have here the Four of Cups, we have here the Emperor, and we have here the Nine of Wands. Four of Cups says, if there are things in your life that you don't need to be giving your energy to anymore, stop giving your energy to it. Old belief systems that are outdated don't need your energy anymore. If you used to have a certain belief that was very, very limiting, you can choose to incorporate a new belief instead. If you had an old crowd of people who were very draining and toxic, you can choose to ignore those people. If you want to be your greatest version, you need to remember your power of choice, because you can choose what you sign yourself up for. All right, guys? So make sure you're making the right choices. Make sure you're choosing what you actually want in this life experience. Now we have here the Emperor card. The Emperor is an energy of somebody who's very, very powerful. The universe says you need to remember your power. You have the power to create. You're a creator. You have the power to create your reality. You're creating your reality right now. If you're watching this video and I'm talking directly to you, you are actively creating your reality. So with that being said, you need that reminder. You're a powerful person. You can mold your life in any way that you want to mold your life in, or you can mold your life into whatever kind of way you want to mold your life into, okay? So in order to get there, you have to first and foremost understand that you have this power and you need to activate this power within you. Lastly, if you want to be your greatest version as well, this is going to be the time to not hold back. One of the biggest identity killers is the fear to be authentically yourself. And 2024 calls for Scorpios to be themselves authentically and unapologetically. If people don't like you, don't change to fit their agenda. Fuck their agenda. If people aren't happy with who you are, tough hits. They don't need to be. The point is don't hold back on showing who you truly are. Because when you show who you truly are, what ends up happening is you attract what's truly for you. So if you're authentically yourself and the people in your life love you, they love you for exactly who the hell you are. However, though, if you're always molding to fit somebody's agenda, they're only liking you because you're molding. So if you want to be your greatest version, you always have to be living in your truth. All right. Now, these are some couple, just a couple things to note that are going to help you be your greatest version this year. Hopefully they help. Okay. Now let's get on into it. What's going to be the overall outcome here for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus throughout the year 2024? What is the overall official outcome for Team Scorpio throughout this year? And what do we have? Three of Cups. Fuck yeah, baby. It's a joyous time, dude. I really feel like you're going to enjoy yourselves this year, guys. I really feel like there's going to be a lot to celebrate in 2024 as well. There's a lot that's being overcome, and the big theme was really limitation. But there's a lot that's going to be overcome by you guys. I think you're going to be incredibly proud of yourself. I'm incredibly proud of you, man. You're coming a long way. You went from being on an unmarked trail to now realizing that trail can be marked however you see fit. And there's going to be a lot of changes happening in life, and it might be a bit intense, and at times it might be a bit scary, but you're going to face it, and you're going to overcome the troubles you've had, and you're going to find where you feel like you fit best in this world. And the way to do that is by being who you are. So you're going to find the identity that suits you, the greatest version that suits you. And as you sit in that energy this year, and as you are in your truth, Team Scorpio, you're going to feel like you have a place in this world. And that's something to rejoice about. By the way, Heather, thanks for being a member. I'm pretty sure all my members are like re-signing on. I think the memberships are renewing. So for all the people that are popping up on screen, thank you. Scorpio, it was a hell of a read and it's a hell of a year. Have a wonderful rest of your 2024. And I will go ahead and catch you guys in the next video, okay? As always, guys, personal reads are available. If you want to book me, head over to the website, CancerMoonsTarot.com. We'll be happy to have you. But yeah, have a wonderful year, everybody. Thank you for your support. If you watched it all the way through to the end, you're a trooper. I love you. If you're new, come subscribe. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Much love and have yourselves a good one. Peace.